This is Kid Jinra,
And this is Berlo Convoy.
and we're learning about entrepreneurs. We're about to interview an owner of a movie studio. Make sure you check out Rudy's Girl Media after this video. This is Kid Jinra,
And this is Berlo Convoy.
and we're going to be interviewing someone who has a lot to do with movies.
So, we're going to need your name for the interview. Could you tell us, please?
Sure, it's Natalie Hodge, and I'm the owner of Rudy's Girl Media.
Okay, Miss Natalie. For movie covers, do you ever use, any, drawing stuff or, utensils? What is the stuff you usually use for, movie cover art and stuff?
I use other people who can't create movie art. Drawing is not my area of expertise, but I have a team of people, graphic designers, artists, who support and create covers for me.
Okay, that's cool. So, when you have a restaurant inside of a movie, how are you supposed to, how do you come up with the names for, the restaurant and stuff?
Ooh, so this is really interesting. Names for everything. Sometimes I get inspiration from people that I might run into, or I might see something and I'll pull a name together, like Apple Red House. That was a poor name for a restaurant in a movie, but my example of just drawing inspiration from things that are around me.
Okay, that's interesting. So, for posters, let's say you're making an animated movie. Would you draw the characters in a pose, or would you take a shot from the movie and then put it on the poster?
I think there's merit to both options. So drawing, I think, would offer the option of creatively putting together a theme that's not restricted to something that happened on screen, whereas an on-screen shot would then give the audience a taste of what they might see in the film. So I think it just depends on what you want to achieve with that shot. Now, I personally would not be drawing the poster because it would be a stick figure, and no one wants to see that.
Well, for other promotional art, T-shirts and stuff, do you, so how do you, choose, the character, or, what the T-shirt's gonna be, and stuff?
So I think about the broader theme of what I'm trying to achieve. So what do I want people to know about the project that will be communicated through the T-shirt? And then I start with that as my focal point. So if I really want to get people to go to my website by looking at this T-shirt, I'm going to make sure that's integrated into the story of the T-shirt, into the language. I want to have maybe the character pointing to the website to just bring attention to it. If I really just want to showcase that particular character, then I'm going to make sure that it's highlighted in the best way possible to give a cool design that will draw people in and invite people to fall in love with that character.
Okay, so how do you come up with the names, and how do you come up with a font for the names?
Ooh, that's tough. I usually leave that to the experts, the coming up with the font, because I am very simplistic with my fonts. Whatever that default font is, or Garment. If I'm going to select a font that's custom, it would be Garment, and no one wants to use that for a poster or T-shirt. Anyway, I usually consult with a graphic designer who's really into fonts and colors and creating a whole aesthetic for a project.
So would it be best to come up with a name for a movie first, or base the name after the
Movie?
movie?
Ooh, I love that question. I usually, when I'm writing, the name comes last, because I can write the story and then create some kind of clever drawback into the name. But if you create the name first, you're locked into making the story somehow related to it, and that doesn't always work. It doesn't feel organic to me most of the time. I may have 1 or 2 projects where the name came first.
Okay, that
Little
makes,
Convoy, do you want me in?
yeah, you can come in, but that makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Do you know what like apps or like technology do you use to create the fonts or like the posters?
No. So my team at Rudy's Girl Media works with Adobe Premiere,
Okay.
and I know how to log into Adobe Premiere, and that is it.
What do you think was the hardest movie to create or film?
My personal projects? So, in 2015, I filmed a project in New York called About That Life, and it's, what we filmed was a web series.
Okay.
And it was extremely difficult to film because we had a lot of characters, a lot of different sets. Because in New York, we were all over the New York City area. There were a lot of moving parts to it, and we actually filmed one day for 20 hours straight.
Okay.
It's tough. So that's probably by far the most difficult project that I've done. But Hometown Hustle is a close second, the season 2. We didn't film 20 hours straight, but sometimes it did feel like we were working that long.
Wait, I have another question. For like when you're making posters, you want thicker paper like cardboard and cardstock, or just like thinner paper?
Usually thinner paper, but then put into a frame.
Okay.
What do you think is the most successful movie that you created or project?
Hometown Hustle, definitely. We're in season 2 of it. So season 1 was a pilot season. We had 6 10-minute episodes, and we used that to basically test the concept to see if there was an audience for it, and to see how we felt about the project in general. And the feedback was amazing. And because of that feedback, then we were able to get sponsorship for season 2, which is 10 episodes. They're 22 minutes apiece, and we go all over Southern Virginia speaking to entrepreneurs.
Okay. What other projects do you have coming up?
We're currently in production on a web show called Quarantines. It is about 2 people who come together during the quarantine, and that's being filmed in Miami. And we had some filming that happened here in Martinsville as well. And we are starting a short form content program called On the Spot that will be starting next month.
I have another question. Would it be better to use ring lights or an umbrella light for lighting?
Ooh. I will phone a friend. Wydell, is it better to use a ring light or umbrella light?
I would say depending, ring light would be a lot easier.
So, a ring light might be easier.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Do you mind giving us a tour?
Sure, yeah.
Well, now that we're having our tour, so where should we start? Here? This room?
Okay, yes. This is our multi-purpose screening area. And so we have these chairs set up so that people can view projects from the projector. So we'll project out on this wall. And we're still in setup mode, so we've got boxes and all sorts of packing things all around, as you can see. That's our kitchenette area where we have snacks for the screenings.
Cool.
Well, aren't these gamer chairs?
They are gamer chairs, and the reason that we selected these particular chairs is that they're really comfortable, and maybe at some point someone might want to play a game too from the projector. So multifunctional chairs. This is our mobile editing area, and so we'll have 2 more desks that will be built out very soon where people can come in and edit projects.
Cool.
Like
Yeah.
how would what about the so editing? Do you add effects and stuff? What is the hardest part? What is the hardest thing to edit in?
So that would be a question for one of the people who edit, and that is definitely not me. But I would say, just from chatting with them, we are using a 4K camera, and so
Wow.
that pulls in a lot of information. So the files are very dense, and organizing, sorting out, making sure you have good shots, putting all of the pieces together to tell the story in the best way possible, that's one element. And then polishing and fine-tuning, adding effects, that's another element. And I would say for certain editors, the polishing is the challenge, and then for others, it is the front end work.
So CGI, like when you're making a CGI character, how does do you know anything anything about that?
I know nothing about that.
Do you want to continue with the tour?
Sure. Okay, so all right, so this is our main film space, and we had someone come in to do like an interview kind of style piece for social media, so they use the green screen.
Okay.
But we can set this up for a variety of different sets. If someone wants to put a desk here and have like a sit-down show, they can do that. Or we can put together a living room setup. It just really depends on what people want to do. And we have other lights and cameras to do filming.
So when stuff is done, how do you make sure stuff is safe? Like that green screen, that looks like it could easily rip stuff.
Ooh, how do we make it safe? Well, we follow the instructions on how to assemble it. And then we also make sure that we have someone in here who is a production professional to monitor and to keep people from having accidents.
Okay.
Thank you for doing an interview with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for interviewing me.
Well, remember, all things kids.
All things cool. See you next time.